Welcome to episode 134 of Watch and Complain, semicolon,
It's an hour of sour.
the hour of sour.
Where we talk like
For an
it's
hour.
a podcast.
For an hour.
Because people like when we talk for an hour.
Do you think that anybody, you know what we should do? We should like talk like that ASMR garbage. Like
we need to
get people
one
to
of
fall
those
asleep.
ASMR microphones
Hey, buddy.
and go over to one ear and then the other ear over here. Well, you could do it with two microphones.
2 turntables and a microphone.
Two girls, one cup. Okay, so
I won't see that in the boys. What?
you wanted to discuss Clerks 3. What's up with that?
Yeah, so there's some, and I'm sure there's other people out there like this. There's some writers and directors that you followed their entire career. And some of it like formed the way that you like and expect really good stuff to be. And some of it you're like, God, that's really dog shit. And I don't like the direction this person's going in. Some great examples are like Tim Burton. You know, remember when Tim Burton made Beetlejuice and Batman Returns and fucking Mars Attacks and all these goofy movies. And then he made Planet of the Apes. You're like, what? And then now he just makes the Tim Burton movies, which suck. And then there's guys like Kevin Smith. Now, everybody jumps on the Kevin Smith hating bandwagon, and I can understand why people jump on it. There is, yeah, huge. And I don't know
Because for a good
why.
long time, the nerds
he
were
could do
really
no wrong.
into him. Yeah,
Yep, he could do no wrong. It was
when he had the podcast. He probably still has a podcast.
It was when he arguably sold out and went over to IMDb and started hosting a bunch of shit for IMDb. That's when I saw a lot of hate starting to come up. I don't know why. All I can say for myself is I think Clerks is a masterpiece of a film. I think the follow-up to Mallrats is not a masterpiece, but is fantastically fun. Chasing Amy is a fantastic fucking movie. Dogma for me is where it starts to go downhill because Dogma is where he starts believing his own hype, and that's going to happen to a lot of actors. And I think Kevin Smith, not actors, sorry, writers, directors, and he's a really intelligent guy. He's a funny guy. He's quippy, sarcastic. I love his dialogue in his movies. I don't care much for the Jay and Silent Bob thing. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was fun. I had a ball watching that movie, but then he made like Clerks 2. And Clerks 2 was fun. I'm not going to lie. I had fun watching Clerks 2. It wasn't great, but it was fun. But then he did like the Jay and Silent Bob reboot and...
Wasn't there like a Jay and Silent Bob 2 like Strikes Back? And
No.
then it was the reboot?
It might have been. I
don't know.
I totally ignored them because I don't care for those characters.
Which one was the donkey show? That was
Clerks 2.
Oh, okay.
But then he made like Zack and Miri made a porno. And then I didn't like the 2 movies, Red State and Tusk and Yoga Hosers, and Cop Out, arguably too. I never watched Cop Out. I did watch Yoga Hosers, and I watched Tusk and Red State.
I watched their trailers and that's all I needed to see that it was crap.
But you know what? At least he tried something different.
Yeah.
You know, you can't fault the guy for trying. They weren't very good, but you can't fault the guy for trying. Which brings me to Clerks 3. So I watched Clerks 3, and Clerks 3 feels like...
You mean the trailer?
The trailer,
not
yeah,
the
sorry, the trailer. It's like I recognize these characters, and I love these characters. I love the first movie, and the second movie that they made. But it's got... So what basically happens is Randall has a heart attack, just like Kevin Smith had a heart attack, right? And he's rethinking his life, and he wants to make a movie about his life, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
It just feels like... It feels like now Tim Burton tries to capture the magic of Tim Burton movies. You know what I mean? He's not making... He's making Tim Burton movies where before he was Tim Burton making movies. And that's a hard thing to describe, but you sit and watch Beetlejuice and Batman Returns and Mars Attacks. You watch those movies and you're like, this guy is a screwball. And then you watch those terrible Alice from Wonderland movies that he made, the Planet of the Apes movie that he made, the Corpse Bride movies that he made. It feels like he's like, you expect Tim Burton movies to look like this, so I'm going to make them look like that.
Yeah.
There's no
He's
imagination to
become
it.
The Marvel version of himself.
Yeah. And when I saw the trailer for Clerks 3, I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but I'm worried that Kevin Smith is trying to make a Kevin Smith movie instead of just making a movie from his heart. I'm definitely going to see it because I enjoy Kevin Smith. I don't jump on the Kevin Smith hating bandwagon. He's not great. He's not a fucking messiah, but he is an intelligent writer. I think he's a cool guy, and I'm looking forward to it. But that's the one thing I'm worried about. I'm worried that he's doing a Tim Burton, who he famously hates, by the way. Is
along with Bruce Willis,
right? But yeah, that's the one thing I'm worried about. But I do hope that I could, go and sit and watch it and go, nah, this is fun.
This is one movie you can tell me about later. I'm not going to see it. It's not that I hate his work. I just feel like it's so forgettable. I won't get anything from it. Like, I do like his early stuff. Like, I enjoyed Clerks, but it's forgettable.
No, I thought it was hilarious.
I enjoyed Mallrats. That's I can
rememberable.
Yeah, rememberable.
That's the correct term. Rememberable.
I have memory. Sometimes.
Memorable.
But yeah, I won't watch it. It's just.
I'm just gonna see it for Rosario Dawson being a very attractive woman. And a very good actress. That's one thing. She is a gorgeous woman to look at, but she's also a very good actress.
For All Mankind. So far, we're up to episode 5. I actually was looking over my notes and thinking to myself today, holy crap, I forgot to watch one of the episodes.
So I forgot to watch 2 of them.
So you haven't gotten up to 5?
Nope.
You've gotten up to 3.
3.
Okay. So we're going to keep it for... Should we just keep... For All Mankind for a full series review?
Yes, and then we'll discuss it. You know who's going to watch it?
Nobody.
All Mankind.
No, everyone should watch it.
It's true.
It's the best series available right now.
I disagree, but it's definitely like number 2.
What is yours? Better Call Saul?
Better Call Saul.
Yeah. I hear you on that. I don't watch it, but I get you.
I will say that For All Mankind is the best show I've ever seen about a wrestler that goes into space. You're the wrestling fan. Isn't there a wrestler called Mankind?
Oh, go to hell.
See,
that was a stretch. I'm like, which celebrity, which wrestler
fucking Mankind
did a cameo in the show that I completely missed that I can't think of?
They should have.
Oh,
is it Nick Foley or Mick Foley?
Mick
Foley. They should have Mick Foley just walk by in the background, and that's Mankind.
And then it proves your point.
And then he's buying a bunch of shit.
Everyone's in astronaut suits. He's just walking by,
and he's buying shit. This is for all mankind.
Have a nice day.
See, I don't get that because I don't know anything about him. I know he had a puppet named Saki or Sako.
Sako. Yeah.
And I know he wore like a Jason Voorhees mask,
not
a zipper
quite.
Mask or something.
Yeah, it's like leather straps,
like a straitjacket type of thing.
Yeah, for your head.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I know he had Sako.
You confused the out of me.
And that's all I know.
Let's go into a question from me. If you would like to leave a question for us to do on a future episode.
And it can't be stuff that you want us to do. Like, I'm not going to give Phil a rim job or anything like that. Don't ask questions
like a request.
Like that.
That's not a question.
That's a request.
It's not like, can you do a rim job on Phil? That's when you're like, no, I can't.
And it can't be a question like, will you guys just kill yourselves?
Darn it. There goes all our fans.
From Kay Rice. And Karen's like, hey, did you see that question that somebody asked for you?
She's leading you to it. You see it? That TikTok, that person that said the black kid.
She's the one that's getting all of our hate mail.
Question of the week. As a kid or teen, kid to teen, anywhere in between, when looking for movies to watch on cable, what were you typically watching or looking for?
I feel like you can answer, because there are 2 for me, and I feel like you can answer what both of them are. What would me, as we're going to say,
porn,
9 to 16-year-old, we'll even go younger, 9 to 15-year-old looking for that thing? It's the little air.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
me from a 9 to 15-year-old, what do you think I was looking for? Because I was a latchkey kid. My parents didn't give a shit what I was doing.
Were you watching La Bleu Nuit?
I don't know.
Okay, that was one of those. The French channel at a certain time of night would have softcore porn.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah. So like,
I got to go back and tell myself.
it was like late, and it was like not late to us now, but 12 or 1 o'clock, right? And then it would go to La Bleu Nuit, and it would be completely softcore porn. It's like crappy movie.
Yeah, pay-per-view
made
had
so that
had
you could
a
have
similar
little
thing too.
sexual scenes where all you got to see were boobs.
Yep.
And like implied stuff.
There was no penetration, but it was just like, and they were making out and shit, and then like implied sex.
So one of the most
With massive saxophone going on. In the
famous
background.
ones for me would be like Snapdragon, if you know what that is. That is one that Pamela Anderson was in.
Ooh.
She was in a softcore porn.
I saw her hardcore porn with
Yeah.
her husband.
One Night in Pamela.
Was that what it was? One Night in
No,
Pamela?
It wasn't. I was playing off the One Night in Paris and One Night in China.
Oh, yeah, I saw One Night in China.
Yeah.
Wasn't very good. It's one of those pornos that you watch and you're like kind of sad while you're watching it. you
Yeah,
know?
because you could tell they were drugged up and alcohol.
Nobody's
and-
enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Giant clit.
There's clip.
Nope.
There's I don't know. I don't know. We won't get into it. Otherwise, we're gonna get pulled up.
So yeah, La Bleu Nuit was definitely. I would have expected. Did you check out Showcase?
No, there we had pay-per-view and pay-per-view.
Were you looking through the squiggly line?
No, we had we paid for it. My
Oh,
mom
okay,
paid
okay,
for
okay.
it for pay-per-view. We had like the fucking box. You remember the box that had like the digital numbers and everything on it?
Did you have to order it?
Yeah. It was
So you
something to pay
ordered
for.
porn and they didn't.
No.
care?
At like 1 o'clock. So pay-per-view was you got like these certain channels that you had all the time. The majority of the time there was like 4 movies that would just keep on.
Oh,
fucking
did you have like
repeating.
the Skin Channel or whatever it was called?
No, at 1 o'clock, like 1 o'clock in the morning, they would have like Cindy's lusty adventures, like something stupid.
It's always
and it
Cindy.
would run like 1 or 2 times, but it was always Saturday morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. It was either Friday, so Saturday morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. It would be the porno stuff, but it was not. I'm sorry, it's not pay-per-view. Pay TV, I think it might have been called. It was basically this brown box that was like the movie channel. You know what I mean? That you would when you paid for it, it was like cable, but it was on top of cable where you got like movies, but they would just be like the same.
Because
5
we never
movies.
got like whatever the American one was, like HBO or something. We had
Yeah, it
we,
wasn't
we had
channel
our
like
own
that.
at some point.
Yeah.
TMN.
No. It wasn't a cable
movie
channel. You had
network.
to have this box, and it was like it was
I
like
remember the box.
Yeah,
it was a
that.
decoder.
yeah, effectively.
Yeah,
But it was like the same
unscrambles
5.
the signal.
Yep, and it was like the same 5 movies for like a month that you would watch.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched a wrestling pay-per-view through the scrambled.
Really?
Totally, because we didn't. My parents wouldn't pay for that.
Hmm.
That's like $40 at the time, and that's expensive at the time. That's like now they're like 50, 60. Well, now they're like $10 a month. But lucky kids.
Yeah. No, I was lucky. My parents didn't give a shit what I was doing. They were like, "Hey, put him in front of the television. Forget he exists," which was great for me because I got to see. But sorry to answer
Aside from porn,
your question. Looking for a lot of porno, but mostly I loved. I really got on a horror kick. I really really enjoyed horror
it said
movies.
no porn. Horror kick.
Horror porn. Horror porn. Horror porn. Horror porn. But no. Mostly horror movies. I don't know. I just fell in love with horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
I never got
At
into
what
Giallo.
age did you fall in love with horror?
You know what?
Movies.
It's funny. My sister, her and a bunch of her friends. This is my older sister, who's 7 years older than I am.
77.
They couldn't. Well, she couldn't. Either she lied to my mother that she was babysitting me, or looking after me. They weren't doing anything, and we all went out to see Jaws 4. Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Oh, okay.
And I remember I was very young. I want to say
I
I was
didn't
like,
even know there was a Jaws 4. I'm
I
sorry.
want to say I was like 9 or 10, and I might have been a bit old. But we went to theater, and it was so Like, it was stupid. I'm watching, like, there was no part of it that was scary. And I remember Angel constantly ignored me going, like, are you already scared? I'm like, no, none of this is fucking
How old?
scary. I don't know. But I know I was like 9, 10, or 11. I was around that range. And I was like, okay, this was not scary. I want to find shit that's actually kind of scary.
Okay.
And so I went out. I would find old movies. Like, that's where I discovered, like, 2001 Poltergeist.
So
I discovered Poltergeist.
2001.
Right? You'd be scared of it because you'd be like,
those
why am I
apes.
watching this? But
I
Like, I
last
discovered-
time I tried to watch it, I was just like, oh.
I discovered Poltergeist at like 1:00 in the morning, and I was scared shitless of Poltergeist, man.
Okay.
When that fucking doll and of course the little boy's name is Robbie. And everybody called me Robbie when I was a kid. The fucking doll grabs little Robbie and pulls him out of bed. Even to this fucking day, I won't have fucking dolls in my room. They fucking freak me out.
Nicole's the same way with clowns.
Clowns still bug
Probably
me. It's
it.
little fucking dolls.
I don't know. No, there were a leprechaun or something like that. Something about the leprechaun that grabs your feet under the bed. Or
I think it was probably the fucking creepy fucking clown doll in Poltergeist that pulls Robbie under the bed.
But
She
no, can't be alone anyway.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
That's why she had a kid. She's like, I don't care to have a kid. I just never want to be alone.
Yeah.
But no, for me, it was all love. I always loved sci-fi. I think like guys our generation really love sci-fi regardless.
that
I think
was
everybody
for me,
loves.
yeah.
But no, for me, loved horror movies, man. And I'm still I can't get into Giallo. I've tried it. That's like the Italian horror movies, like the Dario Argento stuff and stuff like that.
Okay. What's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
I don't know. That's a hard question to answer. Probably the movie that legit had me. Okay, I don't want to. I don't want to turn the lights off. The Exorcist. When I first saw The Exorcist, scared the living bejesus out of me. I'm one of those. I don't know why few people who really was fucking freaked out by Blair Witch Project. I fucking thought that movie ruled. I was terrified of Poltergeist. Scared the shit right out of me. And Rosemary's Baby fucking freaked me the fuck out. The end when the baby's like, you can see the baby's the Antichrist. Well, a little bit you see of it. But no, I think if I had to choose the scariest movie I've ever seen, yeah, it would have to be The Exorcist. I was legitimately, like fucking on the edge of my seat. Like, I don't want to turn the lights off watching The Exorcist.
I think because of at like my friend's birthday party,
You watch The Exorcist.
there was a bunch
what a
of
good
kids
movie to watch.
there, and they put it on fucking TV. So they scared the shit out of a bunch of kids, and then the whole arachnophobia issue in grade 3 that scared the fuck out of a bunch of kids. So like, ever since those, I think horror movies have been like off the table for me.
Really?
Like,
Oh, I fucking love
mostly. I like horror movies that are more like thought
Cerebral?
Yeah. When they're not just like, I'm gonna scare you around the corner.
Ugh.
I don't.
Yeah, jump scares are not
nothing-
scary, and
yeah.
I'm glad now that I've watched enough horror movies that I feel like you kind of know when a jump scare is going to happen. And even Karen likes to bring it up to me. We went and saw. Remember when M. Night Shyamalan could do no fucking wrong? So we went and saw opening weekend. We went and saw Signs, which the first
it.
Dude, the first hour and a half of that movie is spectacular. And that fucking scene where the little boy's just kind of sitting there and the dog just barks for no reason at him, I fucking jumped. And I must have been the only one in the fucking theater that didn't see that happen.
No.
I jumped like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And when they're down in the...
Even in the cornfield.
yeah.
You're just
Oh,
like,
fuck.
oh.
Remember when they're down in the fucking basement and the little boy is against the wall?
Yeah,
And you get the hand? Dude, our theater
But
went
then you get the
fucking
corny,
bonkers.
under the door thing, which jumps people,
Yep.
but it was still corny.
Yeah, you saw it coming.
And then the end, they shouldn't have put the
I
alien
remember
on camera.
I remember legit when he's like, "It's the water that stops him. Swing away, Jordy," or whatever the fuck his name is. I
Earl?
remember
No.
looking. I thought it was Verl or something like that.
Verl,
Something like that. But I remember. So I was sitting here, and there was Karen beside me, and there was a guy beside me with his girlfriend. I remember me and the guy looked at each other like, "What?" Like, and all of us walking to the theater were like, "It was fucking water."
It just got corny, and it rode that line of like, it's a Christian movie. It totally was, though.
I did like, though, when fucking Mel Gibson, when they're running around, they're trying to scare the aliens outside their house, and he's running around and he goes, "I'm insane with anger," as he's running. I thought that was quite funny.
I feel that Signs was propaganda from the Christian sect.
Maybe.
Because, like, I feel like they put money into it and was like, we need a Christian movie that everyone's going to go to, and then it's going to
Remind them of God.
The end is just going to be like, you should be Christian and you should believe in
That's-
God's way. And
That's how I feel about those terrible Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe movies. Those stories and those movies have annoyed me since day one because they are the most blatant Christian propaganda I've ever seen. And it annoys me that they try to tell little kids, oh, read this book. It's such a wonderful... It's not a wonderful story.
and it's in schools, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking story that... At the end of it, do you know the end of that fucking stupid story? They all die and go to heaven.
No.
I'm like, I'm sorry. You want me to tell my kid, hey, read this story. At the end of it, they all die and they're happy to be dead because they're in heaven. Like, no, thank you.
It sounds like it's half Christian, half not a mob, but a cult.
Cult. Well, what religion isn't a cult? But that's a whole other fucking subject.
Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that. I was into... This is where I found my love for sci-fi movies that did the whole... We're a crew on a space station or a ship floating out there, and something happens and we have to deal with it. That anything can come up and I'll be interested in that kind of, if it has that
genre,
feel.
yeah.
Event Horizon,
Aliens,
of course. There's so many out there that I've watched that have been crap, but I still enjoy it. Even Jason X, you could even say, was one of those. Like anything where they have to survive on it, or they have to go down to a planet and survive. Like, I love those, and those have always been my favorite type of movie. That's why Rubicon we'll talk about in a minute.
You'll talk about. We'll talk about it.
Any other movies that you looked for, like types of movies you looked for?
Always loved sci-fi. I hit, I don't know, I want to say like maybe 14, 15, and I decided, I'm a film aficionado. So that's when I started looking for like, the Scorsese stuff, the Kubrick stuff, the fucking William Friedkin stuff, like all the Alfred Hitchcock stuff, like all these directors who were like, these guys are the best directors ever. You know what I mean? That's when I started going to, and that's around the time that I didn't really look at who stars in the movie. It was who wrote the movie or who directed the movie.
I still don't really do that.
No, that's what majority of the time, that's what I do.
Like there's some like M. Night Shyamalan for a good pork for a good portion of time. But until he started, The Happening.
Believe in his own hype, yeah.
But no, The Village lost it for me. Like when I was so into, I think we've discussed this over and over again, but I was so into this Village. I was so interested. I wanted, you always want to know what's going on in a movie. You're like so interested in the movie, but then you ruin it for yourself because you find spoilers, you find screen.
I remember we were watching
scripts.
We were watching some movie, and the trailer for The Village came out, and they're like, the red mark on the door. And we've all seen, I hope everybody's seen, when they're going to cut a tree down in a construction site, they'll put a fucking either like the yellow circle on it, or they'll paint it in some capacity. They'll rub paint across it. This is getting cut down.
Or they'll put on a door saying this place has been watched, checked. Yeah.
So I was like, well, it's like, the people are doing it like it's not a monster is basically what it came down to. It's they're this is all fake. They're saying, it's a scary monster, but they're like, okay, this house has to go, this family has to go, something. So it was, and I thought, so Karen and I were watching that. I remember discussing it. I was like,
after the fact, not that.
Yeah,
no. You knew Karen back then.
After the fact, I was like, that's what the movie's going to be about. Like this, the higher up group are finagling the younger kids in the town, and the younger kids in the town are going to learn about it and rise up. That's what I thought the movie was going to be about. Okay. And then I watch it, it's like, no, there's a monster. I'm like, it's not a monster though. And then the movie is so painfully obvious that it was one of those movies I was like, oh my fuck, just get to the ending. This is so fucking
Do you remember
boring.
what it was?
Yeah,
specifically?
They're in a compound. They're living in a compound. Yeah. And
it's like they're
the whole
Amish
compound
people,
thing,
but
that they had decided, hey, they don't want to be part of the fucking society,
trick
whatever.
Their society into thinking that they can't leave or monsters will kill them.
Right. And I was like, that whole monster thing was so stupid. Like that's when I was like,
It's
holy
like
moly.
claws and it was
It
like
was
what's it?
dumb.
The Bumblebee show. What was it? The Hornets. The one. Did you watch it? The one where the soccer group crashes onto the wilderness and they have to survive.
Oh yeah, Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
fucking love Yellow Jackets.
I meant in terms of like,
Dude, that Melanie Linsky is gorgeous.
what was I talking about? In terms of the mat,
Yeah, the
cause
monster.
and yeah.
It was how much more interesting a movie would it have been if the older townspeople in the village were wiping or were trying to scare the younger people, and it had to keep on escalating and escalating and escalating until they actually had to kill someone, and then the young people learned that it was the older people doing it, and then there was an uprising. Like, to me, that's a more interesting story. I've got.
But isn't that what it is in a way?
No,
Like, don't
why
they
the
kill?
fuck are there monsters? I don't fucking care about monsters.
Yeah.
That was so stupid. What the fuck, monsters? And then he makes Lady in the Water, where he's the author that writes a book that saves the world. That's when I was like, okay,
It got
holy
it's
moly,
super
dude.
corny there, and then The Happening,
yeah, that was
and The
bad.
Happening just completely lost its way. It's just like this happens.
I remember watching The Happening, and all these. Remember, he was trying to sell it as, oh, it's so scary when they're diving off the roof and this guy's feeding himself to fuck. My favorite was the guy that decides to go underneath the fucking lawnmower, the automatic lawnmower. I was laughing myself silly when I was watching that, and I'm like, this is definitely how I'm not supposed to feel while watching it. But I was having so much fun because it's so bad.
You were supposed to get. I feel like you're supposed to get a similar vibe to, what is it called? The one where all the machines start going against people.
Oh, Maximum Overdrive.
Is that what it was? Where like
It's a Stephen King story, yeah.
yeah.
And Stephen King directed it.
And
Well,
so
high
that's
out of his mind.
classic movie.
Very,
Everyone
very
should go
stupid movie. though.
stupid, but I feel like that's the same feel.
I feel like the feeling that M. Night
Everyone should go
Shyamalan
watch that, by the way.
wanted you to have when you were watching, especially the opening of The Happening, was how you felt in Schindler's List. How you were depressed and you're like, there's no hope. This is the end. These Jews must feel like this is the end of our existence. We are going to get wiped off the face of the earth because of pure evil. I feel like that's what he wanted you to feel like with The Happening.
But instead,
I was giggling like a fucking mental case.
trees are alive.
My favorite too is Marky Mark is like a math teacher. He's like, hey, bro, hold on, bro. It's what are we doing here? I was like, oh my fuck. I could not believe how bad that movie was.
That ruined his career until Transformers, did it not? And then
Yeah.
Transformers kind of ruined his career too. But
Yeah.
he still he did get
Well, he's
a jump up. He's become a comedy movie.
Yeah, he's become a
guy.
caricature, which is fine. No, hey, dude, everybody needs work. But yeah, I remember watching that Happening movie, and I was just like, there's some movies you watch, and you've heard the hype about how bad they are. And the best bad movies, and thankfully, The Happening was one of them. The best bad movies are, one, the ones that think that they're making a seriously great movie, like The Room,
Yeah.
The Happening. Movies where they think they're making a great fucking movie, and they're not boring.
They just
If you get a bad movie that's really boring, those are the worst to fucking sit through.
yeah.
But like I love the Neil Breen movies because they're nice and quick and they're so fucking stupid.
So you're saying Happening was at least you could get through it?
Yep,
Okay,
it was
agree.
at least moving at a good clip.
I agree. I could watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could enjoy it. I could enjoy parts of it.
Yeah,
I could. It's like one of those things where you could relive the hope that it's going
As well.
somewhere, and you're like, maybe I just didn't watch it right last time. I didn't have the point of view. Hopefully this time.
that's my favorite. Maybe I didn't watch it right last time.
But there are certain movies like
Yep.
where you were too young to understand,
Or yeah, honest, like again talking about Shyamalan with fucking Unbreakable. When you see the end of Unbreakable, Unbreakable is my favorite movie of his. Unbreakable is spectacular. A lot of people. So, and I know I've told this story before, but me and my buddy Neil went and saw the movie Sixth Sense when it came out. And when Bruce Willis asks Haley Joel Osment, he says, I see dead people. And he says, like zombies and skeletons? He goes, no, they're walking around like real people. They don't know they're dead. And I leaned over to Neil and I said, Bruce Willis is dead. And he was like, nah. I'm like,
You just
dude.
ruined it for Neo.
But you know what I mean? Like, it was, to me, that was so
This is why I don't go to
obvious.
movies with you.
I did not see the ending, and apparently everybody else did. I did not see the ending of Unbreakable coming from a fucking country mile away. And when it says that, when he says, like, I'm Mr. Glass, I'm the one, I was like, oh my God, it fucking blew me away. And all the other people were like, that was so obvious. I'm like, nope, I didn't see it at all. But Sixth Sense I saw right when Bruce Willis says the line, like zombies, and he says no, walking around like normal people because they don't know they're dead. That I was like, I get it. But that's why I love in Unbreakable
that one again.
is one of those
watched it in a
ones
long time.
where you watch the end and you're like, oh my God, I want to go back and watch from the start again to see where I can see the little notes or the little hints that he's fucking dropping. Unbreakable, and same as Sixth Sense. Like, remember, it's there's never red. There's only red when Bruce Willis is there. Blah 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 blah.
It's so weird that you get like a classic like that that's so well done, and then you get The Village.
Yep. And you know what it is?
Happening.
It's again bringing it full circle to Kevin Smith again. It's
Believing
a
in
director
your own
that's
thing.
trying. That's like, I have a holy fuck.
I have to follow.
I have
up.
a thing I want to say, and then they're like, well, what was my most successful? I'll just ape on that again, and that's why I miss these. There's only
He just got so hyped on. You have to have a twist.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I have to have an amazing twist.
Yep.
That goes past the previous one.
Yep.
And they failed miserably over and over again. That had to hurt his own ego.
Yeah, and the worst is, like, then you get a movie like The Visit, which is a stupid movie, but it doesn't really have a twist at the
haven't
end.
watched.
No, it's not terrible. It's not very good, but it's not absolutely abysmal terrible.
A lot of jump scares, or is it?
No, I wouldn't call it jump scares. It's got a very, very obvious, what's the right word I'm looking for? It's very obvious what's happening
As you're going through it.
as you're going through it. And that part is kind of scary because there's kids in danger, right? So that part's kind of scary, but you see it coming from a mile away, but it's escalated, ratcheting up and up. And he's really good at ratcheting up and up. Even that fucking terrible old,
But
right? He's good at, he's,
okay, that's the worst.
I will
That
give
is
him
the worst.
I will give him
Yeah.
that. He knows how to ratchet tension.
I got rid of that.
He just gets it wrong sometimes. But he does know how to do it.
He does know how to do tension unless he's on a beach, and that's that's all he gets.
And the stupid thing about old is it's a good gimmick once, but you can't build that into a fucking whole movie, And
You could.
I don't think
it's
you
just
could.
super hard.
But once you know that, oh shit, we're all getting older. Okay, there's our initial scare that's gone by, and
It's
now
not really a scare. Then it becomes a cerebral thing.
yeah, but that's what's scary about it. It's like, oh my God, what if dementia? What if I fall apart? And I don't even want to get into that movie, but he in my opinion, and people might fucking totally disagree, he missed out on the things that are actually scary about growing old on a beach. Like these two kids
Sand
that
in your underwear.
she winds up pregnant. Like, what about them kind of, what are we doing? Discovering what they're doing, the sex that they want to have with each, like, can you imagine your 4-year-old brain, or 10, however old he was, like 4 or 5 years old, starting to become like, starting to feel an overwhelming biological imperative?
It totally skipped over that, and it's just like.
But that's what's fucking
that
scary.
Wasn't shown.
And that, to me, that's what's scary.
Yeah.
Someone's fucking. Like, can you imagine being a fucking girl who's like 10 years old and starting to go through the process of womanhood? Like, your brain must explode.
In that period of time, you wouldn't care about sex. You'd be caring about, like, what do I do about this blood? Like,
exactly right. But then you start having this biological imperative that because the beach is making everything go into overdrive, you're like, holy fucking shit. Like, I need someone to put a baby in me right away.
You think?
That's what's interesting. What if one girl had that and one girl didn't? Like, there's all these fascinating things that could have been done. Instead, it's like, oh, she's pregnant now. Oh, she had a baby. Oh, it died.
It was very much like, we just discovered what just happened instead of showing what just happened.
Yep.
That's not scary.
Nope.
Nothing happened.
Nothing that I care about happened. Yeah. Oh, look, she's pregnant. Da-da. I've seen pregnant people before.
What's the answer? Let's dive through the circle of coral.
Oh, stab this dude. Oh, my brain. Dementia. Bye. Oh, God, I didn't like that movie.
It failed. Especially at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie goes on past where it should have ended. But regardless, Clerks 3, I'm going to watch it. I hope it's good, but I have some doubts. The end.
I made you watch a movie, which this is a good lead-in because we were just talking about being stuck on a space station and having to survive and stuff like that. Rubicon with a K.
Kubicon.
Following a catastrophe on Earth, the planet is covered in a toxic fog. The crew in the space station must decide whether to risk their lives to get home and search for survivors or stay safe in the station's algae symbiosis system.
Now, that's one thing I thought was interesting. And
something new.
Karen brought it up while we were watching it, or while she was watching the first little bit of it. Don't you notice that the western part of the world, we're the only people that say algae?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody else says algae. Yeah. And I was like, that's cool. I never noticed that before.
And I'm going to use it properly this time. Colloquialism.
Yes, Caligula. It's Caligulaism.
Caligulaism.
You ever see the movie Caligula?
No. I don't watch good movies. You know this.
Caligula's not a good movie.
I went to Thor.
Caligula's not a good movie.
You need to watch
But it does
Thor.
have boobies.
You
I do enjoy boobies.
Listen, you watched Rubicon, but you didn't watch Thor.
So, I'm watching, and so I'll tell you out of the gate where Rubicon goes wrong. It has this interesting premise, not a good premise, but it has an interesting premise where there is all this toxic fog on Earth. It looks like
that's not even the premise at the start.
Right. They can't communicate. But okay, eventually what happens? They can't communicate with everyone on Earth. They discover that it's possible that the spores or something about this algae might be able to solve what they discover 300 survivors in a pocket of Earth, but it's getting the window to be able to rescue these people is getting smaller and smaller. And then there is, now keep in mind I'm saying this with what part of what did happen and what should happen. There was infighting on the ship between the people that are on it, and then they decide
on what to do.
Okay. And how it should end is, okay, you know what? The girl, the German captain, I believe she was. Or she was German or French? She was German. The captain was German. She gets into escape pod, steals the algae, fires down to fucking Earth, saves the day, repopulates the world.
But there's a problem with that.
What?
Like, is
okay,
that
sorry.
Is that the right answer?
What does happen in this movie is people go, oh, I'm depressed. I don't know if my algae's going to work. Then she goes, but we have to try.
That's not.
And he goes, I don't know. This movie was written by people that must have been on so much fucking...
They had a great idea. It was just convoluted because there was a lot of parts to it. That
a lot of unnecessary convolution.
They kind of came together, but it just wasn't coming together enough to make an impact. So you got the corporations that are ruling over Earth. No, there's no countries. There's nothing of that type of thing.
That's why it's so kind of homogenized up there. There's Germans and French and all sorts of people that are up in the space station.
On Earth, it's all domes run by corporations. Like Coca-Cola Corporation now rules over New York.
Coca-Cola colloquialism. Coca-Cola colloquialism. Fuck,
another thing they do at the start was she's coming up in a spaceship.
Coming up.
Okay. She's coming.
Now that's when we get cut off of YouTube.
Oh no! Comes up in a spaceship. Goes to the space station, but the spaceship is dying. It's not. The corporation wrote the code.
A scene rife for action. And what happens?
It took too long.
Oh my goodness, my ship.
It was a little boring.
I gotta. I wonder, is there a way to get this ship to go fast?
She goes into manual mode and then she docks.
Oh, I know what I can do. I can turn this little
thing. Which we've seen before in other movies.
I'm turning this thing. It's almost there. And then the guy beside her's going,
you can't do it.
Man, you got to
go back to auto.
She's like, shut up. All right, I'm doing this. It was literally that boring. And I'm watching it going, dude, who the fuck is making this? Like, this is putting me to sleep. which is what happened. I fell asleep. I wake up, and then I'm like, oh, fuck, now I got to rewind it. So I rewind it till about like half an hour in, and then I'm watching the rest of it, and I'm like, I'm kind of glad I fell asleep because this is boring as hell.
It's too convoluted because like for what movie and what premise they're trying to get through to you, they could just quickly tell you.
Yeah,
it's okay. You're stuck on a space station. You have a bunch of algae that you've experimented on. The Earth needs it. Do you go? The whole point of this is. There's 300 or 200 people
300.
that are surviving in a dome that's just surviving, but they need the algae to continue to survive. The problem is those people are rich corporate assholes who don't care about anyone else, left the military people out to die because that's their job. They're there to escort them there and die.
It's a class struggle, and who do we save, blah, 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 blah.
And have said, if you come down and give us the algae, we'll all survive. You're not invited. You do not get to survive with us. You just hand over the algae, and you have made the population of Earth survive. Yeah. So the problem here is, do you go down and have these 200, 300 people survive and give your life to it because you were forced to? Or do you stay up there because you're, one, pregnant, so you have to think of yourself and the one inside you. And fuck those people because fuck them.
Yep.
Like, they don't care about you.
Yep.
That was the twist and turn.
Now, that could be an interesting struggle to watch. Instead, here's how the struggle goes. There's the old guy that his son died, the guy that created the algae. Oh, man, I'm depressed. And the captain goes, God damn it, we need to make a decision. I'm too depressed to make a decision. It's my algae. Well, we got to save the human race. Yeah, well, I'm sad. Yeah, we got to do something.
No, the other dude is sad that came up with the girl and goes to kill himself. So old dude decides, you know what? I'm going to sabotage something so that he cannot leave. He cannot... What is it? Oh, he can't kill himself because I say that we need 3 people on the space station to make sure you're feeding the algae back so that they survive. The algae survives. Turns out he was lying the whole time, and dude ends up, killing himself anyway?
Yeah.
And for no reason. For like the opposite reason.
And not to mention that the overall story of these people surviving on the Earth, there should be, and there was, but there should be a constant ticking clock of these people that are on the planet. You effectively just forget about them to watch these guys argue. Yeah. Like a great movie like Daylight.
But wouldn't that be the case? If you were up in a space station and you had this monumental decision to make, there's 3 people, it's going to be between the 3 people.
Yep, absolutely.
You're not going to see what's happening down below.
Take a movie like Mass. You can put 4 people into a room, and the entire fucking movie is these 4 people talking to each other, and it is riveting to watch. This movie...
Like 13 Angry Men? 12 Angry Men?
12 Angry Men, yeah. But this movie, I didn't know. I didn't know what like, I didn't know I didn't know what I was supposed to be tense about. Because I'm just, especially the one, like when they're supposed to be all upset and they're supposed to be arguing about this shit, the guy's like, you don't know, you've never lost a child like I have. And she's like, well, I might lose a child pregnant. And he's like, yeah, but lost my son. I'm like, what about these? What about the problem at hand?
But that's realistic.
It is, but it's fucking boring. Like, I want to watch the problem at hand. Like, it felt like it wanted to be an action movie, but was also a movie where let's just sit around and talk for a long time. It's like it took the worst parts of Alien and the worst parts of The Happening, like a really cheesy action movie that doesn't have any action, that wants to have action, and just put those together.
Oddly, I was into that whole thing.
What, Rubicon?
Yeah.
No,
I like these movies. I like these cerebral or
I didn't find it cerebral. I found it. You know what?
Suspense.
You know what it reminded me of? That Cloverfield Paradox.
I love that.
But it's a movie in space, and I'm like, I don't care about what's happening. Like, something interesting happened. And even by the end, oh, the ship's going to... I don't care. Like, I don't care about any of these characters.
That's what a lot of people felt.
But I don't care about any of these characters.
You know,
like,
Cloverfield Paradox was made for the people who were very into the lore of Cloverfield.
Yeah.
They were just playing. It's like fan service movie for for a very specific small niche
But
group.
then a great comparison, take a look at something like Alien, right? In Alien, you grow to really care about these characters and you don't want to see anything happen, especially like Ripley and Dallas and all those guys.
The difference is how specific Alien is. They don't go into these convoluted things.
Yep.
It's you have to survive.
Yep. That's what makes the story, for me, that's what attached me to the story is, and even when we watch like 10 Cloverfield Lane, you want these people who are locked into this confined space to survive. Fucking Gravity is a great example.
Oh,
you
yeah.
want them to survive because she's locked into this fucking confined space.
Passengers.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is a great movie. But my point is,
That's your favorite actors in it.
that movie, both of my favorite actors are in it.
Yeah.
This movie just, I just wasn't interested. I didn't care about anyone, and I shouldn't care when the entire planet's at stake.
The one I cared about most was Dimitri.
Yep, the guy that made the algae.
father.
Yep,
Like he's an amazing actor.
very good. Yep,
And a lot of these people are great actors. It's just, yes, the movie was boring.
it's tedious. Yep.
Yeah, and if it was more specific and they had more action scenes,
And it didn't
That
even
would be
need to
great.
be like explosion action, but like you brought up a great example, 12 Angry Men, where you were really behind these arguments. Like you really chose a side, and the other sides that argued against you, you're like, fuck yeah, I do see where he's coming from, type of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like Mass, fucking fantastic example where one is the parent of the kid that shot up the school, the other one is the parents of one of the kids that got killed. And you when they can let you see everything from both parents' sides, that's amazing work. And now I'm not
I
saying
still
every
haven't
movie,
seen the movie. I plan
should.
to.
Oh, man.
I just keep forgetting about it.
it's a hard watch, but it's a very very good movie.
And great for current events.
Right? Exactly. So you know what you should do? You and your wife should get a tub of popcorn and sit down and say, we're going to have a nice family movie night and watch Mass.
I'm gonna be one of those people who order from Skip the Dishes from Landmark and get popcorn delivered to my house, even though I can make it myself in a microwave.
I do that. There's the...
Oh my god!
No, not that. Sorry. Like there's at the farmer's market, there's someone that sells like a fucking bag of popcorn that's like as big as my kid.
For how much?
I don't know. But I want to buy that fucking huge thing.
Because you can do that at Landmark.
Get like a bag of popcorn?
Giant bag of popcorn.
For how much?
I have no idea.
Well, I'm going to do
probably
it.
like for them, probably like $25 or something.
I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
And then bring home like the bottom part of it.
And then
like
you
the
can get the
kernels.
Landmark fleece blanket thing.
Landmark fleas.
Yeah, Landmark fleece.
Nice, dude. You get that from
sitting
sitting
there
in the chair.
and yeah. We both went
Look,
to
your
the same
fucking
place.
screen. I don't know what we're
I
talking
turned
about
it
now.
on. Rubicon.
Rubicon blows. You know what? It's not a bad movie. It's a poor movie. It's a movie that was not done as good as it should have been done.
You know what? Great movies like this is a Sphere.
Until it's ending. Yep. Same with the book.
Yeah.
Incredible book, man. Until the ending.
Event Horizon.
Till the ending.
It's all these things where it's like they got this great premise, they got this great acting, they got the great build up, and then flop.
Just shits the bed.
Yeah.
Yep.
But worth watching.
Absolutely. I had a fucking ball watching Event Horizon. I was loving it.
I go back to it every now and again. I'm not a person. We can end this by talking about this. I don't know what kind of person you are in terms of this. Are you a rewatcher?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not. It's very hard for me to watch something over again. My son wants to watch the Godzilla movies.
Okay.
I've seen them 10,000 times now because he's gone through phases. Like when he was like 4 or 5, we've gone through the Godzilla movies.
See, you're lucky
That's
that
enough for me.
that your son wants to watch movies. My boys want to watch
He loves
fucking
it.
YouTube videos. Like this fucking Dan TDM. He's just a guy that plays Minecraft. And
Yeah.
that's all. They'll watch it all day.
You have to wonder how these kids that are like we were into something else.
Mm-hmm.
We were into cable, Saved by the Bell, TGIF,
I was into Saved by the Bell for a different reason than you, but go on.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Oh man! And then when you finally got to see her,
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
But TGIF, were you a TGIF kid?
Wasn't there a restaurant called TGIF?
No. The TGIF was the ABC or MB, whichever. Full House was on it.
What a great description you're doing.
Full House was on it. Family Matters was on it.
Do I look like a guy that watched Full
Boy
House?
Meets World.
No. But that movie or that TV show did have the girl with kind of a flat nose that had big boobs. She was hot.
Topanga?
Topanga. That's right.
Yeah, Topanga.
Man, I wouldn't mind.
Boy Meets World is
Topanga.
what was I talking about?
About TGI Fridays.
Oh, rewatching things. Like I can't rewatch things.
Oh no, I love to rewatch things
for a while. Like it's like I'm trying to get a movie archive. What do I actually want to watch? Again,
yeah, but you like shit movies.
my perfect movies are never perfect, but Ghostbusters, Jurassic Park,
Afterlife,
like all of them. I haven't watched the woman one.
You've never watched it?
I always
Ghostbusters
say it
2016?
No, I haven't watched it again.
Oh, okay.
I've watched it because of my son. I've watched it maybe 3 times total. It's just so depressing.
One movie I've watched because I watched it, but I come into the room and the boys are watching it. Is that fucking movie Pixels with Adam Sandler?
That's actually good.
Oh, I hate that
I know you
fucking
hate
movie.
Adam Sandler.
Adam
Why did I
Sandler.
say it like that? Adam Sandler.
I hate that movie.
If it wasn't for Adam Sandler, you'd probably like this movie. It's weirdly, like, good.
I think my one son has just watched it because he wants to see Mario. I guarantee when that fucking Mario movie comes on digital, it's going to be just on repeat around here because my boys fucking love Mario, dude. It's just going to be on fucking repeat.
I'll tell you what's a horrible movie. Master of Disguise.
I've never seen that.
It was
Yeah.
so bad. That's
His name
that's
is-
one of the ones I walked out on.
Isn't his name Pistachio Disguisey? That's one thing I do know
don't
about it.
I was sitting in the movie theater and I was just like, oh my God. And I looked at my friend. I'm like, this is awful. Can we just? And that takes a lot for me. I got free tickets to it because I worked there.
Okay.
And I had
And
to
he
leave.
still walked out of it.
I was just like, this is the only other movie that's done that for me was Bloodwork.
All right.
That
Your
Clint
your
Eastwood
famous
piece
hate
of
for blood
shit.
work. I have.
No, I actually saw the whole thing, so I didn't walk out of it.
I've never walked out of a movie, but I have fallen asleep during a movie.
You fall asleep during a lot of movies
It's true, especially at home.
and TV shows.
Yep.
And
That's why in theaters I kind of like it when it's like just a fucking stiff chair that you're sitting because there's no way you're getting comfortable enough to fall asleep.
I like the recliners.
But then I've always fucking fall asleep.
The problem with Landmark is the only thing. Everything aside from IMAX
Your hatred
has
for the Landmark
amazing.
is
No, I love
legendary.
Landmark. It's Cineplex.
Oh, I'm sorry, Simplex. That's right.
No, Landmark I love. Their customer service is awesome. Everything is awesome there. They have
Everything is awesome.
They have Coca-Cola Freestyle, and I love that. But
Me too.
the problem is they don't have the super comfortable reclining chairs
Unbelievable.
in the IMAX.
I would complain.
Dude,
Hashtag.
every single time. You're like,
time you
oh,
go.
it's Phil again.
You know what? Just set up a fucking recliner for him in the corner.
Could we? But then I'm in the corner. No one wants to be in the corner of a movie.
Nobody wants to be near you
No
in
one
the corner.
puts Phil in
You'd
the
be-
corner.
You'd be all by yourself. And I'd be like in the middle of the dinner, hey, Bill, how's your chair?
We have sometimes. What is your when you go to the movies currently?
Mhm.
Like I know it's few and far between. Whenever I tell you to go to the movie,
I will
what
say
are your
with that
pet peeves?
with that Landmark thing, I am going once a month because I get the free movie
Yeah.
thing out of it. My only
What do you get there? You're doing your thing. What bothers you?
I really hate when people are on their fucking phones during a movie. That drives me fucking bonkers. I hate I don't mind catcalling. I don't like at the movies people make fun of the movies.
Enjoying the movie.
Yeah,
and
that's
just being like,
always great when the
"Ha-ha."
audience is into it.
But not the.
Fuck.
Like you have to put your thoughts on the movie on other people in the theater. Not you. I mean, like the people that do that.
Yeah.
They're like, I have to lead.
Yep. Everybody
laugh?
has to know how I feel.
Yeah.
But no, the only other thing that bugs me is in really good movies, I hate people who like
Just hate people.
Yeah, I hate people regardless. But the people that laugh at like inappropriate times, like people that go and watch,
it's a fake laugh.
or they're like they'll watch like Hereditary. So Hereditary, wonderful movie. right? Or Northman, wonderful movie.
Oh.
And then you'll watch people that are like, when it's supposed to be like a brutal scene where he's like fucking axing somebody in the head and their guts and brains and eyeballs are all over the place, and they're like, ah!
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, that's not the appropriate
You
time
just
for that.
don't get it.
Yeah.
Or you
I
think
don't.
it's supposed to be funny, and you're just
So you're just laughing to
because
see, is anybody
you
else going
gotta
to
be
start
the
laughing
one.
with me? Yeah, don't like those people.
The people that's, and you're just like, no, it's not
Yeah.
the time for that.
I don't get the clapping at the end of a movie.
If it's an epic, and it's the first showing, you're there on the first night, and it's a full area, and people have been into this movie. People
Yeah.
have been like almost cheering or cheering at certain times.
I've cheered in the movie, but I never clapped at the end of a movie.
Like
I feel like
Avengers
you
movies back in the day.
But
when
I
they
feel like
first-
you clap at the end of like a play, where the cast can appreciate you clapping. A fucking movie is not going to hear you clapping for it.
No, but it's still you're making it better for the other people that are there too. So
I guess.
you're becoming the experience.
We like when I went and saw episode 7. It was fucking. I went and saw the movie again, of course, partly because I couldn't hear half of what it was saying because we were all screaming our heads off.
Exactly,
But
and
none of
that
us
was
were like,
amazing, wasn't it?
"Woo!" At the none of us clapped when the credits started. We were all screaming for everything else.
Really?
Like we were like, "Woo! It's over!" But none of us were like,
I've been to some
Ovation
that there
for it.
been
That's
a
fucking
little
stupid.
clapping at the end because they were just happy that it was a great experience. And
I guess.
like if you love that, that's the feeling I get at good wrestling events, where it's like everyone's into it. They're chanting along. They're enjoying the event. They're cheering.
They want to watch men in their underpants wrestle each other.
Yes, well, that happens at other events.
Gilf meetings. Stroke and complain.
Cycling.
What?
They're in spandex.
You have a minute and a half.
Hour of sour.
We're going to get right to the hour.
Anything you want to put out there in the last 2 minutes?
I
am. Are we going to play this game?
There was something I was going to mention. I forgot what it was.
We are going to go to Nope.
Nope. That's right.
In, I guess, 2 weeks.
Are we going to go?
Yes.
And I've got to go see Thor probably tomorrow.
I saw the trailer for Nope recently, and it was one of those ones
dude.
that... No, it pissed me off because it wasn't what I was hoping. I was hoping for the cerebral horror experience. And I'm getting the comedic team-up movie to try to figure out what kind of aliens are there.
I think... It was like Get Out. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on in Get Out in the trailer. Same with This Is Us. Nobody really got what was going on. I think Nope is the same thing.
I hope it's a bait and switch.
I love the
first trailer
tagline.
was great.
The tagline is, what do you call a bad miracle? I'm like, oh God, that's good. So I'm just really looking forward.
I'm worried it's more heavy-handed on the comedy than it is on the
I don't think so.
horror.
I feel like Jordan Peele is a wonderful comedian, very funny comedian, but he has proven his chops when it comes to horror movies. And I feel like he's done his comedy, he likes his comedy, but he keeps his comedy and his horror totally separate. And I feel like Nope is going to be a lot of horror, and I'm looking fucking forward to it.
And I will confirm with you that I cannot go see Bullet Train with you.
Why?
My wife wants to see it.
My wife was saying, because I said I'm gonna go to Thor probably this week or weekend. Ken's like, oh, maybe we'll make a whole thing out of it. That we can get popcorn and see naked Thor. And I'm like, that's the whole reason that you just want to go see it, just to see that naked Thor scene. She's like, well, I'm not gonna say no. So I think my wife just wants to see Chris Hemsworth
Just want something to
bare bottom when she has
imagine you as.
all this to look at. She's looking at Chris fucking Hemsworth.
Well, you get to look at what's her face.
Yeah, what's her face?
What's her face?
I followed her career
You know that
countless days.
I can't say names.
Countless.
I can't remember.
I love what's her face.
What's her face from
She
the
was-
Star Wars movie?
She was in Playboy.
No, she wasn't.
1989.
No.
She was Miss What's Her Face. All right, so for Watching Complains, Hour of Sour, episode 145,
1:34.
39, 51. I am Robert
Smith.
Vader. I'm just looking at different shit that's around me to choose the last name.
They're just like end the show. This is
You
like,
end the show.
This is like Rubicon.
No, if it was Rubicon, it'd be like, I'm depressed to end the show. Why did that light come
There was a
on?
lot
Oh,
of
'cause
boobs in
Karen's there.
Rubicon.
Oh, really?
There were small boobs,
Yeah.
but you could see them through the outfit because that's what's important in a movie.
Nope. The movie did have a lot of boobs, but they were like super people.
People who are watching the movie. Bye.
Bye, everybody. We should have music that fades us out.
We do every.
I never watched the
maybe
ending.
You should watch.